Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back to Between Two Pickles. This episode is once again sponsored by Recruit Raiders. Are you tired of fighting with OpenSea? Are you worried about brand new phishing attacks and potential compromisations to your wallet? Why not use Recruit Raiders to trade, buy, and sell all of your favorite raiders, mobs, and mounts at less of a fee than OpenSea takes, going straight back to one of our community content creators and helping our community. Fantastic website, check them out instead of using OpenSea. This episode is also brought to you by Pickle Finance. Pickle Finance auto compounds your rewards, meaning you will build up your liquidity position over time, ensuring that you maximize your yields. Are you worried about creating tax events by claiming and then restaking? Auto compounders do that for you, so you don't have to get extra tax events occurred. You also earn additional pickles, who doesn't love that you can restake or lock up to get dill or just straight up sell. Check them out. Thank you so much to the sponsors. Let's get this episode underway. Hello. G'day. Today I'm joined once again by the absolute legend, the reference king of Discord, brand new dad, the man who is just slightly lesser than our beloved Discord ambassadors, the man himself, co-founder of Crypto Raiders. It's Tyrael. G'day.
How you doing, Pickle?
Good, man. Great to have you back on. How are you?
Good, man. Good to be here. I see you couldn't resist the ambassador jab. Well played, sir. Well played.
I mean, it's the going rate right now, right? You got to get that one in.
Oh man, that was Umi won't let me, live that one down, dude. He reminds me any chance he could get, which is hilarious, dude. I think he actually pinned it in the new players channel as well,
He
so
did.
it's memorialized.
That's how I discovered. Yep. Oh man, good job, Umi. What a legend.
Oh well, roll with the punches, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta take him. Why do I look like I've been held hostage? Okay, well they're hitting me back already, so it's no worries. It's going both ways. Mate, it's so good to have you back on the show. And it's been going amazingly since we just, hodgepodge scrambled this idea together on that first episode. I've been kind of blown away by the feedback and support from the community. It's been amazing, and also the willingness from you and your team to take the time out of your busy schedules to do it. And I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. We were talking about Between Two Pickles, this was, man, back in November now, right? That we were first discussing it. And I was like, this is a great idea. Just some one-on-one FaceTime with someone from our team, with a reputable, member of the community like yourself.
Thanks, man.
And just, fielding questions and getting to know us a little bit better in a more one-on-one setting, right? Than just Discord, I think is awesome. Yesterday, excuse me, not, yeah, it was yesterday we did the spaces. Sorry, my time is a little bit off here. But yeah, yesterday we did the spaces, which was great. Want to start doing more of those with the team as a whole. So we're getting some more of that Q&A time and just FaceTime with the community. I think it's invaluable.
I agree, yeah. And that went so well. It was awesome. I mean, I just woke up 5:59 a.m., hopped on Twitter, boom, just went live. Perfect. So yeah, 2 weeks ago on Between Two Pickles, we delved into the technical side of Crypto Raiders with Centurion, talking about the balancing of stats and everything to do with the stat design of the game, which was incredible. And this week I want to change gears a little, take a little bit more of I suppose an overarching look at what's to come, some of the new initiatives with you, one of the co-founders, decision makers of the fantastic game. And I think we'll start with what you guys have been mentioning recently with the new lore voting protocol for the crypto writers community, for the ecosystem, right? Tell me about the idea behind this and what you envision it becoming.
Yeah, for sure. So right now we have everybody, knows this. We have our two tokens. We have Orem, which is our utility token, and we have Raider, which is our governance token, right? And right now, Raider doesn't really have any governance utility. It just has the utility of that you could stake it to earn more Orem, or you could in an LP, or you could bond it, right, to earn more Raider. So what this will do is allow people who have staked and invested in the ecosystem, similar to how we've done airdrops. If you've had, X amount of Raider staked, you have gotten an airdrop. So if you have over X amount of Raider staked, you will get to participate in this lore voting. And the way that the lore voting protocol will work is community members will be able to submit proposals for different things that they want to see lore in the game, right? So you could have a whole dungeon idea, you could have, whole storyline idea, an idea for a great, new character and backstory, and it'll be in two types of submission forums. There will be an open submission where you can come with any idea, and there will be things that will prompt and will ask the community, hey, can you come up with a great idea for X, Y, or Z? The people will submit these ideas, and the council of community members will select the ideas that they think they are the best. They'll put them forth to this lord, the protocol to vote for, and people will be able to go in on the smart contract and select what they want to. So on the smart contract end, it's not too tough for us to build this. And it's really cool because it allows us to set up that infrastructure where we could do more than just lore, right? We could do these fan art contests that we've done before, all through the voting protocol. We could do more music contests all through the lore voting protocol. And we're super excited to finally get some more of the music stuff implemented once we get over to Unity. I know I've seen people asking, hey, when music, when royalties? That is coming after we get over to Unity. We have not forgotten. But the lore voting protocol will allow us to do more than just lore, right? Which I think is really great. Um, then along the lines of giving back more to, Raider stakers and more utility for Raider stakers, right? There's other things that we could do as far as, hey, cosmetics, right? That only Raider stakers could get and use in game. Different appearances for your character, like different facial
Right,
hair.
so more skin, so like the skin customizations, like have more of those unlocked for stakers, basically.
Exactly,
Right.
because we're going to have all of this information in this protocol, and then we'll be able to take that and use it in other ways, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of possibilities that open up with it, which is fun. From my perspective, I grew up a total sci-fi nerd. I don't know if you're a Star Wars guy, but I was
Definitely
just
Star Wars and Star Trek, man. Yes.
yeah, man. I was deep in Star Wars. I was a huge fan of the expanded universe of Star Wars. I loved what all of these individual writers and perspectives were able to bring to the Star Wars universe, and it really is a great example of how the collective, right, can do more than just an individual as far as ideating and coming up with fun things. And obviously, Lucasfilm guided the direction a bit of that expanded universe, right? It didn't just go completely haywire, right? There was a canon,
Yep.
and that's essentially what this council will operate as the group that's going to keep the canon, make everything make sense. It's going to tie together. That way, we don't have like lightsabers showing up, in the
Yep.
middle of Arium,
Yep.
but it'll just allow the community to be much more involved and have a direct impact in where the game goes. And they're going to do a far better job and have way cooler ideas than we could ever come up with just as a small team, right? So I think this is going to be really fun. Um, and
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it allows like little references. You saw, the Jenkins farm, right? Like on the
Yep.
the new Act 2 dungeon,
Leroy.
or Olgo, right? Olgo's demise. We had Olgo hacked our server,
Yep.
and Excalibur destroyed him in a 1v1 match of CS:GO. So
Nice.
he fucked off. But yeah, we can yeah, we can have
Nice.
lots of fun with some of these, community driven initiatives, and it just gives the game a little bit more flavor, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I really want to focus on that idea for a second. That calling it the council. I mean, it sounds like you guys are envisioning this council to be almost elected through this staking or voting protocol from the community. Is that sort of what you guys are getting at right now? The main
So
idea?
the council, we will find some people from the community that we think would be great for it. And I'm not sure if we're going to have those initial council members be voted for yet, or if we're going to just appoint certain individuals to kind of guide this lore direction. But another thing that I think would be good in the future is for us to have sort of a council of elders, not in this lore voting protocol sense, but in the sense of people that we're getting good feedback from the community directly from community members. We've talked about this a little bit briefly in Discord, but there's a lot of great community members who have amazing ideas about things to implement into the game, and it's tough sometimes to filter all the feedback just through Discord, even though we're extremely active and we note everything. So I think that giving people a direct forum through like a council of elders would be an incredible asset. Um,
Yeah, I really I really like that idea. I've kind of been thinking about it myself recently as well, with some of the kind of more original content creators in the community joining Langley to do this sort of Raiders of the Round Table kind of community discussion thing. I think that idea, the two kind of go hand in hand. Like you said, if community members can all talk with each other and be represented by, like you said, a kind of council of elders, and have that liaison where with the devs, where we've got that open, clear, concise dialogue about what we're feeling, what priorities are, and um, which things the community is really focused on, could, like you said, be extremely valuable and almost create something greater than just the team working away at what they have to do. And you guys, you got deadlines and things you're aiming to hit. I think having that avenue would be extremely valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, some of our greatest ideas come, right from the community. I mean, the Endless Dungeon inspiration came from Unsung,
Yep.
from, a Discord conversation. I have great DMs with community members all the time who have great input about the game. Degis gave me just like an absolute fire idea a couple days ago in a DM about, soulbound items. There's all kinds of great feedback that we're getting all the time. So yeah, I agree. The more that we open up that dialogue, the better off we are. And I think that's another great reason why those spaces are so valuable. Having people, being able to come up and ask away whatever they need, or is on their mind. It puts it directly at the forefront of
Totally
our
agree.
thoughts,
Kind
and
of like
that's
how
important.
kind of like how Belay came forward and said, "Look, the French group, as a group, have these questions, and I'm representing them, asking them."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that, right?
the
Yeah.
legend Belay, man, showed up 2 bottles deep to the January Invitational.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. So yeah, that's a great example of somebody who would be great for that council of elders, to kind of give us some more direct feedback. And I'll have to stop by one of the Raiders in the Round Table um, spaces one of these days and just kind of jump in and hang out. I love that Langley's been taking the lead on it. He's been doing an amazing job as far as creating content for new community members.
Yeah, really good
Uh,
videos that are really clear about how to get into the project and what's available. it's an invaluable asset, because it can be quite daunting for especially new players to go, oh my god, what do I do? We got on the one hand we got the it's my real money, on the other hand you got what the hell do I do in the game, and on the third hand you've got what do I do in the game with my money so I don't get wrecked.
Yeah. It's a little bit different right now than a normal game, right? Because a lot of people tie like direct financial things to the game, right? And I think that's
Yeah,
one of the challenging things with crypto raiders. Just as we continue to grow and where the game is in its current state, obviously we all see in Discord the flood of questions. When ROI, right? When P2E, when X, right?
yeah.
And I think that we have to keep the focus about the quality of the game, right? And making sure that the game is engaging, the game is fun, and that the game is able to grow, right? That's a key factor in making sure that the game has longevity. Of course, the financial aspects and the economy of the game is extremely important as well. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that we need to make sure that the focus isn't all about hey, win ROI, right? Like that.
Yeah.
We've really done a great job of avoiding that in the community so far, and I think that if we can do that, make the game engaging, and we have a lot of plans on how to do that. I think SAS has done a really great job expressing our vision around what combat will look like in the future, as well as
Oh
Centurion.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I think you guys kind of have an idea of where we're going in that direction, and how the game is going to get a lot more depth there, and really start becoming a lot more spicy. So it's definitely on the
Spicy.
way. I just don't want us to forget that.
Oh yeah, totally.
And the play and earn components in the game are already present, in the forms of item drops, right? In the forms of tournaments. People are able to win, up to it's a $1,200 USD prize pool every day, right? So
I
we're
I
giving out.
and I got past round one for the first time this weekend
Well, dude, you got to get better. You got to
in
get
the
better than
Gen
wood
5
chippers, mate.
tournament. I know. I hit a wizard. It was not a great wizard one, but I got a good Crusader's cloak, and I made 8th place just in the tournament of level 5s. So that's $60. Like
Hey, man,
that's
not
what I
bad,
put
man.
into the game at the start, right there, which is
Yeah, man.
crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
there
incredible.
are opportunities, like you said, for sure, and there's way more coming. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Questing and alchemy, that's another route that people have been making some passive forum, and they've been turning that into recruiting raiders, right? So that's another
Yep.
way that people have been kind of offsetting that, which is cool. I personally am behind on my recruiting. I'm holding out. I need to get my Gen 4 Tigress. I need to land one, man. I've got a few orcs that I can recruit.
A few
I'm
Gen
fingers.
3 recruits.
I've got some orcs
Oh
that I
my
haven't
god.
haven't recruited yet. Fingers crossed, I can land a Gen 4
Tyrael's
Tigers.
Tyrael's doing unrecruited Gen 3 orc giveaways, everybody. You can't back out.
I
Oh,
do
that's
have some for some giveaways, but
ooh. Oh,
that'll be for the future.
that'd be really cool to get a few of those rare Gen 4 Tigresses.
Yeah, I personally thought that was a really fun new dynamic that kind of got introduced through the open recruiting contract.
Kind of
Is that
unexpectedly, right?
Yeah, I didn't really know that was how it was going to work when we were discussing it internally. And that's like, oh well, this will mean that if you hadn't recruited, you could still recruit a new character from an earlier generation. And I was like, wow, that kind of like opens some really crazy possibilities, because imagine somebody who doesn't recruit for like 3 or 4 cycles, and there's some crazy new rare character and they somehow land it on an early gen, and it's going to be like, what, this guy
Yeah.
has like a Gen 4 undead, like how did that even happen? So there's like some really fun
Undead
unique
confirmed.
opportunities that open up there. um
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to recruit anymore now. I'm just gonna wait till Gen 10, but then recruit Gen 6s when everyone else is recruiting Gen 10s.
It gives you a
It gives me a bit
gives you an
less
excuse to
recruiting.
hoard the Orem.
Yeah, hoard the Orm, but I won't have as many
Hoard it.
questers, like little Grimweed mongrels running around slicing up the fields. Um. Anyway, in terms of like the short-term roadmap, I know there's a few updates coming in the next week, 2 weeks. Um, what can you tell us about what's coming out in the next couple weeks to next month or so?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of big items on that list. Immediate things that are coming up here this next Wednesday. We're gonna have the Orem Bridge out of game completed, which is a huge infrastructure move, and that will also include potions in and out of game, right? So
Yep.
potions will be a huge add to the overall ecosystem, giving them some utility. One thing that is also really great about the bridge and that proof of concept with the currency, right, is now that enables us to say, all right, we can drop Orem into dungeons and people can start pulling that out. So that's that win, play, and earn component, right? We're almost right around the corner here.
Yep.
We've got the bridge coming. We're right here, man. We're right here. The second component to that architecture side is the server side authentication, which the team has been working on for nearly a month. As Nick touched on a little bit in the spaces yesterday, essentially that just allows us to verify everything and make sure that there's zero cheating, no exploiting going on. Everything's button tight, it's wise. That way, when we are doing these Orem drops, there's no shenanigans that are occurring, and we're all solid. So that's
Yeah.
all right around the corner. With that change as well, we're going to start implementing the mobs earnings. That will be in endless dungeon. So when your mob in endless dungeon kills a raider, they will get some Orem rewards. And then there's going to be some rewards in the endless dungeon as well for the raiders. So depending on how deep you go in the dungeon, you will get specific loot and rewards.
So
Um,
that's the passive side of mob rewards that has been the plan since the release and the announcement of mobs all the way back in, I want to say, October or
Yeah, yeah. I
earlier.
mean, yeah. I mean, that's just one
Yeah.
aspect of the mobs. So this game mode, Endless Dungeon, is independent of the story mode dungeon. So there's chances that we could implement mobs in other factors of the game in the future,
Yeah.
right? This is just sort of mobs iteration one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So that was my
s-
question, because this is kind of an early stage of that. You've been doing all the testing so far, and now once this infrastructure upgrade happens, that unlocks that ability for you guys to drop Orm rewards for mob holders, and then expand in the future to drop pay to earn, bridging Orm out of the game into wallets.
yep.
And also now we potentially have, like you said, that kind of early idea where the story dungeons have particular mobs, or a chance to have particular mobs that are also working the same way for the mob holders. If they kill a raider, they defeat the raider. There's an Orm
Yeah,
drop, or there's they steal a bit of loot or something like that.
yeah, man. Mobs are, in my opinion, one of the most fun things about crypto raiders. It's an incredibly unique concept. So seeing them get, this implementation and living in all their glory is great. When we get the leaderboard up for the competition, I think that's going to just add a lot of fun. So that'll be a leaderboard that'll say, who's gone the deepest and who has the most kills. And it'll
Yep.
just constantly be updated within the game. And then we have a huge giveaway going for anybody who doesn't know about that yet. I believe it's 75 mobs that we're giving away in the endless dungeon competition, all the way up to legendaries. Those legendaries have been trading anywhere from like 4 to 6 ETH.
Yeah.
It's no
Crazy.
joke. I think we even did we commit to a mythic in here too? I want to say
I
we
think you
did.
did. I think there's one
I want to say
mythic.
we did.
Yeah.
And the Mythic's trading at 10 ETH. It is no
I
joke.
know,
The endless dungeon competition.
and I feel like the floor has dropped again, and with this release coming so soon, that mobs are really undervalued, considering that you can't recruit them. They're a fixed
Yeah,
number, and the number of raiders is growing. So mobs value is increasing, increasing, increasing as more raiders pop up.
yeah, and you're gonna see more runs in endless dungeons when the rewards are implemented, right? Because raiders are
Yeah,
gonna have that
exactly.
incentive that they're gonna want to get in and go deep. It's a daily game mode, so rather than you having to wait per week to get runs, you're able to play this daily. The depth of the game mode, because of the randomization, right? You're able to play this game and face new mobs and have new challenges all the time, right? And when the combat system upgrades, I think it gives Endless Dungeon even more flavor, because then the talents start to
It's
come
gonna be so
into
fun.
yes, and it starts to just get a lot more fun. And then this Wednesday too, we're going to be releasing rings. So Centurion touched on that a little bit,
Yep.
but the rings will also be our first experimentation with like passive buffs on an item, right? So like this will give you a +5% chance to crit, or this will give you a 5 +5 health regeneration, etc. Right? So rings are also our first foray into some of those other stat adds, which just make gear more fun and more valuable, right?
Like passive, yeah,
Um,
passive bonuses like a life steal, or maybe like a
exactly.
percent blind. Yes. Oh man, the possibilities. My mind's racing.
Yeah, it just starts to become, like a more complete RPG game, right? Which is
Yeah.
what, we're going for. And, I think that's one thing that everybody has to keep in mind, when new players come in, and they see the game, it's just like, hey guys, don't forget we're live shipping this thing, and we've got tons of updates coming.
Yep.
And I think we can improve a little bit on our messaging, and our education for new players, to let them know, hey, this is exactly 1 2 3 what is on the roadmap, right?
Yeah.
And here are some resources you can go to and hear us speaking about it or read about it. It's one of those things when we've been so focused on moving quickly on the development side and on the game, the game side, that we haven't hit some of those things yet. So those are all points that I feel that we can improve on. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, we're hitting the ground running here. Then obviously on the near horizon are gear NFTs, which we talked a little bit about on the spaces. That's a really complicated. It sounds super simple, right? Like, hey, let's just make all the gear NFTs and just trade it. But there's a lot more.
Oh, it sounds ridiculous, actually, to me, when you think about the number of runs some people have run and how much gear they've got.
Oh my God,
Um,
I feel bad for some inventories, because I know some raiders, that have 500, 800 runs on them. That's a lot of scrolling
yeah,
going through all those items. That's no joke. So we 100% are conscious of this. We want to get disenchanting and gear NFTs implemented quickly. Ideally, a lot of these um, items that aren't really doing much would go into disenchanting, right? And we would find good incentives for why you would want to do that and why you would want
yeah,
to have those materials to craft, right? But the really good items that you maybe would want to trade, that would be an option for you, where you could remove it, pull it off onto the chain, and you could trade that in the Raider marketplace, or you could trade that on OpenSea, whatever you would see fit.
yeah,
But one of the big changes with gear NFT implementation is the decoupling of uh, the item value from the Raider, right? So right now, there's a few factors that give a Raider value, right? It's the time that somebody invests into the Raider, as far as experience, right? The level of the Raider, the
yeah,
generation of the Raider is a factor, and that will become more apparent as the Orem drops are implemented, and we drive more value back to earlier generations. That's another value factor, right? But right now, gear is directly attached to it. So you saw like where that one Raider sold for, I think it was 17 ETH, that
yep,
had the rare Christmas background. That's like the very extreme case. More common ones you see are like a 3 to 5 ETH sale for like a Lightbringer or something like that, right? But that all being decoupled will have an impact on how the market perceives
Mm,
raters, and it'll be interesting to see how that process goes. So that's another just a factor and thing to think about in the overall gear NFT equation, and something that I think that we have to be conscious about as well.
yeah,
And then there's security things about gear NFTs too, right? Like item duping, right? We need to make sure that we're button tight and we're all good there. Somebody
yeah.
doesn't flood the market with 10 fake light bringers, and all that type of crap.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, so
So
just making sure that we're all
exploiting security, like making sure bugs are ironed out, all that kind of thing is just kind of delays it a bit, but also makes it, you know, effective and secure and generally fun because it's working when it does get released.
Yeah, man, exactly. You know what? It's just one of these things, measure twice, cut once,
Yeah,
make sure that it's done right the first time. And that everything's 100% quality. But yeah, man, we're really close to a lot of huge key planner and components coming out that I think the community are going to be really, really hyped on, and it's going to make the economy feel a lot more robust and dynamic. And then with the Unity port, coming out, hopefully the end of March, we hit that target. Then we're able to start shifting all of our dev resources all onto the Unity platform and really ramping the game up as far as what does this look like outside of just hey we're just running through a dungeon 5 times a week, right? So
yeah.
things like overworld, fishing. Don't worry, we haven't forgot. I see the wind fishing. I haven't forgot you. So we can start to implement some of these mini games, which are going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to give you more value to your raider outside of just what you do in a dungeon. I think that's one of the cool things too about the interoperability of Web3 and about crypto raiders. So, like for example, the Galaxy Flight Club, partnership, World Wide Web Land, other ones that we can do in the future, but just other things that you can do with your assets in other metaverses.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like this other cool little fun value add, and it takes us towards that Ready Player One type of universe that we all kind of like, at least I do. I watched
It's
that
in the
movie
back
and
of
it
your
just,
mind there, like that would be
yeah,
awesome. Like,
it gets me so excited, to have that kind of um, interoperability between IP and games, and seeing it in the practice is just so damn cool to me. Um,
yeah.
yeah, man, it's a wild time to be alive.
That's for sure. Um, yeah, wow. So, I mean, it sounds like a few things are coming that we don't. Is that right? What do
Um,
you know? What do you know?
yeah, I mean, dude, just from there's some really exciting things coming from the business development side that are, in the works. Some really cool things going, on the tournament side as far as partnerships and some really fun new ideas that we have to kind of growth hack um, the community. There's I can't leak one of them. SAS is like I think you touched on it a little bit yesterday. It's an absolutely brilliant idea. It's one of the biggest tournament ideas ever. It's going to be a super unique way, and it's going to bring in people from all over the Web3 space that aren't involved in crypto raiders at all, which is really really
Is this
fun.
entirely different to the idea of the everyone starts at level 1 tournament gets dropped
Completely
200
different.
keys? Completely different. So something else.
Completely different. I'm not going to steal his thunder and leak this. So you'll have to get this from the king himself. But
Oh
this
my.
was a this is an absolutely legendary idea. But yeah, the level one tournament is super fun. We should be announcing that, I think this next week
Is it level?
officially with our
Is it going to be level 1 to 8 or level 1 to max, and then dual?
um it's level 1 to max XP. We're gonna give them 300 keys, and they're gonna just try to power level the character, and whoever has the best raider at the end of the few hundred keys, they've
Should
got the
win.
best. They've got, yeah, they've got, they've got their raider. Good luck to you, sir. So we're gonna throw them all into a giant tournament and let them duke it out. So we have a partner that we're going to be running that tournament with. And there's going to
Awesome.
be a ton of familiar faces, not just from our community, but from other play and earn gaming communities that you'll recognize. And it's going to be a blast, man. That's going to be our first experience with a partner tournament, but
Right.
we're going to be doing more of those in the future. Our immediate goal with duels is to ramp that up to two duels tournaments a day in March, and then in
Yep.
April we want to be doing three duels tournaments a day.
Oh, that means
And
OCE might get some tournaments. Yes.
yeah, man, because I see us having a very large increase in the SEA region in March. I think it's going to be a huge March will be a huge month for crypto raiders as
Awesome.
far as growth goes. So particularly in that region, uh, and that's where we'll be able to have a really good NA time, a really good EU time, and a really good SEA time, and everybody will have their ability to participate in the duels tournament ecosystem,
Yep.
and then doing more fun things that are outside of just max level raiders that allow new players to participate. I think is really key and important.
I totally agree. Yeah. The level 5 tournament was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so doing more things like that, doing more things like endless dungeon tournaments, experimenting with new formats of endless dungeon tournaments. So like rather than it just being how deep in, the endless dungeon do you go as far as floors, like what if we assign points for mobs? So like killing a legendary is worth
Yes.
5, a common
Yes.
is worth 1, and we have a point, system, and then, there's just more opportunity that we have as far as um, gear restriction tournaments, like limiting, only crop
Commons only.
gear. Yeah, just random things like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
That we could throw in. So doing more of these special tournaments, not just max level tournaments. So we're really looking to scale out the tournaments end um, over the next 2 months. So that'll be another great opportunity for people to have an earnings opportunity, right? Because
Yeah.
every day, man,
Yeah,
those
it just
tournaments.
allows more people and other people to get in instead of just the same 20 guys with the best gear to just keep doing it over and over.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then, eventually, like, hey, having not just worm rewards, like we have some raider rewards for tournaments. And that's another great benefit of the bonding program is that frees up, more of those raider funds that we can, start
Right.
to give out to the community in different rewards fashions. But we want to make sure that the primary, earnings parts of the game are skill-based things. They're not just like grinding things,
Yeah. So that
and
actually ties in with a question I did have about tournaments is like the the qualification side of it. So not only for the big ones, but for maybe the smaller ones. We've talked about like doing different types of tournaments that limit you in certain ways. But do you think it's a good idea to limit who can join certain ones depending on, X, Y, or Z categories or requirements or something like that, so that it isn't just, Sunforger who's got two characters with Lightbringers who enters and wins every time, every tournament? Is that something you
yeah,
guys have thought about?
yeah, no, yeah, definitely. That's something that we're constantly discussing.
Yeah.
Ways that we can involve more of the community, and expand the overall. One of the metrics we track are unique players that participate in duels,
Right.
and then we're constantly seeing, are we expanding, and how does that relate to the overall player base expanding, right? Making sure that we're actually getting more penetration into the community of duels depth. Last time I looked, it's about it was 7% and some change that have participated in a duels tournament right now.
Right.
So I see a lot of opportunity still of people that we can get into the duels ecosystem. That's 92% of the player base, and obviously like not everybody who holds a raider is playing, you know, the game, right? But the
Yeah.
vast majority are, and I just see that as a huge number that we can penetrate into and expand
Yeah, for
into
sure.
and build on duels. I would love it to be like eventually something that's in game, and it's native, and you could just like click on. I don't know. Do you
Like
ever play Rocket
matchmake, like
League?
find it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, like a Rocket League tournament where every day there's going to be a tournament at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m. If you happen to be on, you just register right within the game super quickly. Boom, matchmaking is completed. It feeds you
Yeah.
in, and you just start rolling, right?
That'd be
And
awesome.
I would love that type of a system. And then, on the bigger scale, we have the larger competitive tournaments, the esports events, and eventually, I want to do RaiderCon. I want to have something at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas, a
Oh,
massive
wow.
in person esports
Yeah.
event. It's gonna be off the chain, and I think that it'll be just a huge showcase for Web3 gaming. If we could put on a really awesome, successful esports event live in person, with an awesome prize pool.
Dude, that would be
Um,
sick. I want to
yeah,
come.
you better be there, Pickle.
Yeah, man. Borders open for me in 2 weeks' time, just under 2 weeks now. So
Oh man, they're still
99% of
having.
the population is vaccinated. We've had here. This is random aside, but almost zero COVID for the whole 2 years in my
Holy
state.
cow,
Uh,
that's awesome.
so finally opening because we've hit high vaccination rates, kept everyone safe as long as we could, and now it's time to spread our wings and fly. So I'm
That,
keen. I'm keen if that happens, dude. I'm there.
that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that things are getting back to normal. I'm super excited for that personally. I'm a big
Yeah,
you know this. I'm a big soccer fan. We both are fans of the sport, but it was killing me when we weren't able to go watch matches in person.
yeah,
So getting out there and seeing all my friends at the club and being there with family and stuff is just it's man, I missed it so much. So I'm so excited we're back out doing it.
totally. Um, Real quick before we get into a bit of a longer question that I've got.
Yeah, of course.
The ring system with endless dungeon drop. What's your favorite ring so far?
Um, Man, so I'm a bit of a nod boy. I like the crits, dude. I like to live on the edge, man. So I got to go with the agi, the plus, crit bonus. I don't know about you. I've heard a lot of people are running like strength raiders now,
Yeah.
or I don't care. I like living on the edge, man. Live or die by the sword. I go crit hard, baby.
Nice. That was me trying to get a leak out of you. To get you to
I
leak what kind of rings
I
existed.
I saw it coming. I saw it coming. It was a
You
good
saw
play.
it. It was a good
It was a good
attempt.
play.
All right. But yeah, crit bonuses. More crit bonuses. That would be awesome. People love that. Tina loves that. Um, okay. Now, this question, I've talked to a few members in the community. I guess kind of like how we were talking about before, community discussion. And we've seen a little bit of concern about the recruiting, open recruiting, the sustainability and its impact on the community. I personally think you guys have done a really great job at addressing a lot of the comments. Seeing Bry Guy and even on the fireside chat yesterday, but you guys in Discord, giving your reasons, giving opinions back to the community. But I wanted to look at this issue a little bit more from a long-term lens. And I already feel quite strongly that you guys are really owning and holding yourselves true to those two core values you talked about yesterday, trust and transparency. It feels like, as an early joiner, I've already received a lot of value from the game. and so much fun already. Um, and new people who are joining now could still call themselves early and are still getting things out of it. I guess how this ties in with the sustainability thing is I want to know how you guys as a team are proactively planning for this long-term vision you have of being here, in 10 years, not just in 6 months and then rugging, by rewarding the early investors and the players, all the while, but not giving them, the lion's share that lets them dictate what new players can and can't do. In other words, kind of making it accessible to new players so that they don't just feel like they're little passive income pawns for the whales, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a balance of making the game accessible to new people and welcoming and inviting, right? While also making sure that you're taking care of the people that have been, around and with you from the beginning. And and that's why our value, one of our ethoses of crypto raiders has always been that we drive, value back to our players through, airdrops, and whenever new things come out in the ecosystem, we're not selling them to you. We're always, dropping them into the ecosystem or having it as something that can be earned within the game. Because that's what's going to be the healthiest for the game, for the, the market, right? It's going to have a natural market effect rather than us, artificially setting prices and uh, dictating it and pulling out liquidity and value to our own treasury, right? We're keeping it within that ecosystem and driving that value back to the players. So that's one of the key things that we've always done and will continue to do. You know, it, the open recruiting has definitely caused some, concerns for people. One thing I want to make, abundantly clear is that we are listening to people's concerns,
Yeah.
and we have studied the open recruiting model in depth before we made any decisions. This was something that we ideated on as a team for a substantial amount of time, looked at data, looked at different options, and we felt that this was uh, the best option, because, like you mentioned in your statement there, we do need to make the game accessible to new players, and the reality is uh, most players, an average gamer doesn't want to drop $100, 200, 300, $500 on a character to get started, right? So that's where targeting, you know, the indie game price of, like something, 30 to $50 for an entry level raider, would be ideal. And the thing is, we have so many, diamond hands in this community, and people who are having fun playing the game. They're getting value out of their raiders in other ways, like they're sending them on quests, and they're getting that passive income from the raider there. That the floor often zips right back up. So you'll see an initial dive when recruiting happens, and then the floor immediately, zips right back up to
Yeah.
where it was. So it's sort of this initial shock where, and then it recovers, right? Um, One of the things about the open recruiting contract is we can pause it at any time. We can make adjustments to the pricing, to, the time, the duration,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so we have levers to pull as far as if we see the market acting inefficiently and things are getting out of control. We just flip the switch, and we pause things and we make adjustments, and we're monitoring that very consciously. We're taking community feedback there. We're conscious of what's gone on in other, communities like Axie, and
Yeah. I think
it,
Axie
it
was the
it's
big.
it sucks. It sucks because Axie is like the we're kind of like learning from all their mistakes, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
the first ones out there, and they're going through the uncharted waters, and that means they take some bumps, right? And we're fortunate to be able to watch them and learn from that, right? So we're conscious of this stuff. We're not going to let, supply like run away to the point where, everybody's, raiders are valueless. I think that's a big concern. I think another big concern is the earlier generation raiders and, the value that those are holding, right? So one of the things that I think really helps that are the Orem drops, because that
Yeah.
gives it a tangible distinction. Right now, it's really just a discount on recruiting, which is cool, but I don't think it's what
It
people
hasn't added
expected.
up yet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
people see my amazing gold bonus graph in Discord, and they want to know, win more gold, win less gold,
Yep.
right?
I
That's all we want to know.
love that graph.
so I think that that will really help, um, as far as that value distinction goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, we're 100% open on you know uh, feedback, and we're monitoring the situation closely.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I wanted to kind of ask and get your views on it from kind of that long term perspective, because it's easy in the short term to go, I just recruited today, Gen 5 just opened, floor went down by 66%. What the hell? I've lost all my value. Like, um, you know, take a breath. Like you said, diamond hands will come in, they'll buy up a few, and then all of a sudden floor will creep back up, and we do want that. That's the idea, is to drive price down and get more people in, and then get them to be
yeah,
diamond hands as well, and love it as well, and keep growing that way.
yeah, and right now, like,
Concerns are
people
good,
that
but
are,
panic is not.
yeah, absolutely. And one thing to remember is people who are selling those raiders at the floor price right now are often doing so at a profit, right, from the recruiting.
Yeah,
So when the market becomes that it's no longer profitable for you to recruit and to flip it at the floor, people aren't going to do it, right? So there's like natural market incentives that are built in already that will control the pricing a bit, right? So yeah, we obviously, like I just said, if the market acts inefficiently, we have the ability to step in and alter things. But as of right now, people are still recruiting and making a profit on those raiders,
yeah, it
right?
seems
Like,
to be going well. Yeah,
right. And then as Orem drops are going to be implemented, values getting back to earlier generations, the ecosystem continues to expand, more players are coming in. This all just continues to build the overall ecosystem and drive value back to the raiders. But and one thing that I think, I touched on it a little bit earlier, is just when gear NFTs come out, right? And item value is decoupled from raider value. What does that do to the floor necessarily, right? How does the
yeah,
market react to that, right? Um, because I think some people may have, the market may drop, right, when that happens, because people aren't going to have that, gear that they're going to be attaching to the Raiders. So, like, I just think there's
yeah. I think we saw
people have
that
to
a
look at the
little bit.
overall picture, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of think we saw a little bit of that a bit earlier on, like mid Gen 3, maybe just before Gen 4, where you saw some Gen 1 floor price was ridiculously high, and even if they had a rare item, it wasn't that much higher. But as soon as they had an epic, all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, that's worth a bit more.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure. And the item system is going to get more depth as the game continues to grow, right? So set items like the rings are kind of the first foray into passive bonuses, but
set items,
set
Wednesday
items are, I wish,
confirmed.
Ragai and I were trying to do a set item hard for the
The Vile
Old Ghost
Gambison and
dungeon.
Vile
Yeah,
Thorn, right? Yeah,
yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't work out. We didn't have the time to make sure everything was balanced. So
but soon.
we'll do it at a later time. Yeah, but yeah, my point being is there's so many other items and depth that we can add to items. So, like, even just from rings are like one item that can be added without really any visual lift, right? But so are things like bracers, right? Or like boots, or
Hats.
you gotta have hats
You
visual,
can
man.
have
You
rings
got
and then a little charm, that you carry on a string, like a pickle charm or something.
pickle year round in the for the very first, because we had an item naming contest for the very first dungeon that we were gonna do. Um, were you around for that?
No, I'm pretty sure I was asleep as usual.
Well,
Time
there
zones.
was a hat that was on the that was up for the voting, and it ended up winning. And the winning
Oh
name was
yeah.
the hat from behind the dumpster. And
Yeah, I remember. Oh my god.
that's the hat that you're gonna get on every drop.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
I'm gonna make sure that I program it in there. I'm gonna tell Tass here, hey, make sure Pickle gets only hats from behind the dumpster.
Well, if it's hats from behind a dumpster, is that a collection or just one? Because there could be some good ones there. There could be a rare, could be an epic.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah. No, that sounds super exciting, and all that coming in what 3 days for me. Wednesdays in 3 days, so
Yeah, man.
woo.
Lots of stuff here on this next Wednesday update. And then yeah, I mean the thing I'm the most excited about is the endless dungeon contest. I think that's going to be a ton of fun, and just seeing mobs earnings, finally coming into play.
Yeah,
Once we finish this back end architecture thing is just it's just so huge. We've all been dying for it. Ken did an absolutely amazing job on the art, bringing the monsters to life. It was incredible. It was a huge undertaking. Um, Man, how many unique monster, I believe it was like 500 and something sprite sheets that had to be made, animated.
you sitting there in the
Just
Discord, you see Ken back back to work.
dude, the poor guy, he messaged me on the Tuesday when we were finishing up the final release for the mobs art. He's like, dude, my wrist is killing me. Like,
Oh my god.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I was like, Ken, you can do it, bro. You can take the next 3 days off. You just get these fucking mobs done, man.
Oh
Dude,
man.
and Ken, dude, cranked them out like an absolute champ. Fucking legend.
Yeah, man.
Um,
They're all
yeah,
incredible as well. So good.
yeah, I'm really excited to see what he does when we go into building, the overworld and
Yeah.
building other aspects of the game outside of just these basic dungeons. I think he's gonna have an absolute blast. The guy is just like chomping at the bit to get out there and be released into the wild, and I'm just
Do what he
excited
wants
to.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I'm excited to let that man run free.
Man, yeah. The whole team done an incredible job so far and super excited for everything to come. Man.
Yeah, man, it's an incredible team, dude. I Nick, Excalibur, myself, we talk every day about just how awesome this journey has been. Um, if you told us in June, July when we started this thing that we would be having a team of 15 people and a community of almost 20,000 on Discord now. Um, you know, Between all the collections, nearly 3,000 ETH traded in volume. Um, we all
Crazy.
quit all of our jobs. We're doing this full time. We're all in on Crypto Raiders. Like, I just wouldn't have dreamed of it. So just seeing this all coming together is just incredible, and
Yeah.
we're feeling so blessed, and we take the responsibility extremely seriously. It got like real, and
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
we had our C corporation formed at the start of the month. So we're an official legal entity. I was going through and sending out all the employment documents to all the team,
Sign
and I'm
this,
like,
sign that. Yep.
yeah, it's like, man, we're official. I can't call you by your screen name anymore now. I guess I gotta call you by your real name, but I'm still gonna call you by your screen name.
It's not bullying, I swear. Don't get HR on me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
that sounds yeah, a little daunting. A little, like you said, real. Um
it's real, man. But you know what? It's great. We're really passionate about this project. We're passionate about gaming. I've been doing Dude, I've been playing games since I was a child. My mom used to have to pry them out of my hands, and
Yeah.
tell me to go outside and do things,
Go
So
get some friends, Johnny.
yeah, man. So being able to come to work every day and work on crypto raiders is an absolute dream.
Yeah,
And doing it with talented people that are so passionate about what they do makes it even better. And one of the coolest things is how many people we've hired just right from our own community. The community is so incredibly talented. I it it shocks me every time. Every time we do, like, we put out a hiring post, we find great, candidates from right within the community. Every time that we have, an art contest or music or anything, I'm just absolutely blown away by the
yeah,
quality of what we get. Um, and a lot of these uh turn into opportunities and positions, for people, like Zero and Tammy are, great recent examples of people who are just doing a lot of great work on the dual side
totally.
in the community, showing initiative. And we're like, you know what? Let's hire these guys. Let's bring these guys on full time and let's scale duels. Like who would be better to do it than people right from our own community who truly love the game and are passionate about it. Rye Guy's another, great example.
Oh yeah,
MacArthur, is working with us. So many, examples like those guys that just talented dudes, good people, and yeah, man, now on the team and helping us grow and move into the future. So yeah, it's really been an awesome ride in that. We're just blessed, man. This community has been incredible since day one. Y'all trusted, my DMs and met me in the back alley to buy some
yep.
Raiders, and we have delivered and delivered, and we're gonna keep delivering, man. Um, I'm not planning on doing anything else for quite a while.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here for sure. Um, I mean, it sounds almost like a dream. Like, are you pinching yourself, like thinking you're gonna wake up? Because as you said, it's been so incredible so far. But have there been any tough, hard, confronting moments while you've been going through this that have really really hit you hard and made you come, or not come to a conclusion, but think twice, or go, holy shit, this is scary, quit my job? Or has it all been pretty smooth sailing, and green grass?
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, personally, obviously, I have a newborn daughter, 2 month, less than 2 month daughter. Um, like I have a wife, a family, I have a job where career where I was doing extremely well, right? So there's obviously a lot of like, thought that went into my decision on being all in on crypto raiders. But the thing is it really wasn't that hard for me because of how passionate I am about the project, the potential I see in the project, how much fun I'm having working on the project. It's a no-brainer. Like I could I would kill myself if I didn't go all in on this. If I didn't put my entire heart into this, all of my passion, all of my time. Um so yeah, I mean, like it's tough, to take that leap, right? But at the end of the day, like I would miss it for anything. I truly believe in this and I see where we're going to be, in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. And it's an absolute no brainer. I'm all in on it. And I think, that's one of the things that just makes everything easy, right? When you're passionate about something and it's easy to do, that's when you're onto something, man, so yeah, man, but to say it was not a or there wasn't thought that went into the decision, and it's not a difficult thing, I'd be lying about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you got incredible support, family, team members, and It really feels like you guys can take this as far as you want it to go.
Yeah, man, 100%. And I see Web3 and NFT gaming as just a huge, huge upcoming sector. I can't believe that uh, there's so much FUD around NFT gaming and so much hate around the crypto space in general. I think it has to do with a lot of the rugs and just malicious actors that have been out there in the space.
Yeah.
We all have that. Um, we've all heard that saying, right? It's kind of like rite of passage to have been rugged once in crypto,
Yep.
right? Like that's not
That's
really
stupid
that's not
NFT I
really a
bought.
great
Why?
exactly. Like that's not really a great onboarding pitch to like the broader
Yeah.
masses, but the way I think we combat that is by being consistent, by being transparent. And how do you earn trust through transparency? By
Mm.
delivering on what you say you're going to do, and doing it consistently over time, right? And so that's something that we're really conscious of, and that's why it was when SAS Excalibur and I were doing that exercise that Nick mentioned on the podcast yesterday. It was so important for us to have transparency and trust on there because
Yeah.
they're absolutely key in growing. And it's I feel that in a world today that's just there's so much just white noise and there's so much just insanity and there's not a lot of authenticity. When you have that, it speaks volumes, and people can see it and it resonates with people. So that's what we're hoping to do is just continue to be ourselves, do the right things for the project, build this thing, and do the best that we can for the community.
Yep.
And hopefully, they see that and they give us that goodwill for it.
I think we already see it, mate. That's really well said, and great. So appreciated that we have that level of transparency from you guys. Speaking as a community member, it's really special, and and we see it. I think we really do see it, and we can feel it, and we're there for the whole 6 seasons and a movie. um,
Oh man,
yeah, we got some questions now coming in from Twitch chat, so we'll hit a few of
awesome,
these right at the end.
awesome.
I know it's getting late for you, but is that another one you just cracked? He's
I
going
I,
for
I
it.
cracked I cracked a beer here. Got to have
All
a
right,
between two pickles beer.
a beer for the Q&A, guys. Okay, so Deejus is asking, how will the daily endless dungeon attempts work per raider? And will there be reason for him or for us to run your lower level raiders as opposed to like just keeping them questing or something? Especially when it
Yeah,
comes to the competition.
yeah. So the loot would be the loot and the rewards would be the incentive of why you would want to run a lower level raider on endless dungeon. Um,
To get them that even low level ring or something.
correct. Because the loot table is going to be different in endless dungeon than it is in story mode.
Right.
So you're going to be able to get specific items there that you wouldn't in story, and those will definitely be worth your time. As far as the opportunity cost of like what you see best for your specific raider, that's up to your situation and
Yeah.
your goals within the game for your guild or your specific raider. As far as to how the mechanics of the dailies will work is it would be similar to the weekly of like you got 5 runs. So like you would get 3 free runs in a day, and then you could purchase additional keys if you wanted to do more endless
Yeah.
dungeon runs in a day. So that'd be the process.
Yeah. And do we see with that Orm Bridge potions coming in, do we see potion limits per story mode dungeon and per endless dungeon? Like you get 1 or 2 uses per dungeon or per fight. How do you see that working?
Yeah, definitely gonna put some stuff on that as far as a limit like per fight, sort of like I don't think we're gonna allow you to spam like 10, potions in a
Yeah.
dungeon to get through. I would imagine it'd probably be balanced in sort of the way like a runes are for right now. So it's like a single use per run type of
Yeah.
thing. Um, but Centurion is working on that like exacts of implementation over the
Right.
next coming couple days. Sorry, I got a sneeze coming.
No worries.
I think I avoided it. Thank God.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's working on getting that iron down in the next couple days. But it's yeah, again, it's not going to be like, hey, I'm going to spam 10 minor health potions and get my level 3 through, fucking Children Cries heroic. I don't think that's going to be possible.
I'm bringing Tyrael's love child into Endless Dungeon. He's got himself a Vile Thorn now. Look at him. He's gone from Blade of the Beast to a Vile Thorn. He's here.
Dude, there we go.
And
Tyrell's love child. I remember when I gave you that run, dude, and you
yep.
pulled the Blade of the Beast on stream. That was so legendary.
And guess what? He went and recruited last recruiting event. He's got Tyrael's love child's love child.
Dude.
And he pulled a Rosewood 767 strength, wisdom.
Hey, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, my friend.
Guys, I'm telling you, name your raiders after the team members. Somehow it just works. Hashtag rigged. Anyway, will the mob moves down the road make them more difficult to kill? So people are asking about, I think, mob skills. Like, if I have poison, is it going to poison someone? If I have crush, is it going to give some kind of debuff? Can lightning cause paralysis? That kind of thing.
Yeah, we will definitely be expanding mobs as time goes on. Right now, it's just sort of mobs v1 is the way I would call it. But yeah, we definitely want to add more flavor to mobs and give them more than just that right kick, slash that just does straight damage.
Yeah.
So adding in, like elemental resistances, things of that nature, definitely down the line.
Awesome. Because that was kind of built in with that whole thing in mind. So, again, amazing planning for the future from you guys, I think.
Yeah, like I see mobs down the line as like being something, especially like the mythics as being sort of like cornerstones of like dungeon experiences. Like it's
Yeah.
like when you think about like like really high level raids where you would need to gather like 6 of your buddies to go in there and kill a monster. Like that's got to be a big daddy mythic.
Oh, for
And
sure. Yeah.
like there's fun ways that we can incorporate that into the storyline, and make the mythic experience just really fun and unique per mythic. Because yeah, man, they're such badass monsters. The art on them is amazing. And when you think about the peak of like what a crypto raider's enemy should be, right? It should be the mythics. And those would be the ones where you would
Mm.
want to go in with 6 of your boys, and you're gonna need,
Yep.
2 healers, 2 tanks, or 3 DPS, whatever you're gonna need, right? Like
Yep.
in figuring out your party and nailing that in. I think that's going to be super fun. And then each mob would have a different meta around it, right? So like certain mobs would be, have a certain elemental strength, and would have a certain type of CC, where a different mob would have a different type of CC, right? Like there's just so many cool things that we can do with those experiences. So yeah, man,
Hell
super
yeah.
super stoked for down the line with Unity.
Okay, we got a question here. Is there any additional utility coming for older generations apart from that amazing bonus graph, do you think? Or
Yeah, I mean there's other ideas, that we've tossed around. Are there other economy bonuses that we can give those raiders? Are there other, value ads? Still ideating. Again, I think we need to see how the Orem drops play out. How does the market react to that? Let's see how the gear and FTs decoupling from raider value. Let's see how that plays out.
yeah.
Right? There's some other steps here that we need to kind of take, and then I think we'll get a much better idea as to where the market's going and how they're valuing those different aspects. And then we can see. I think that Orem drops themselves will help a lot.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I think right now there's nothing really tangible there outside of the recruiting discount. So people are like they have a big question mark over the thing. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Um, do you are there plans from I guess Nat, SAS, Centurion for different types of potions? And will alchemy level have anything to do with not only their creation but their consumption?
That's a
Benefits
that's a
from
great
consumption.
that's a great question. Yes, we will definitely have other kinds of potions. That is 100%.
Which ones
That is
again?
uh
You
so
told
like
me
let's
before,
say
was it?
uh so yeah, some ones that we've talked about, damage buff, um let's say energy, regeneration going at a higher rate, sort of like a mana potion. But we're not going to have, mana in a traditional sense. We're going to have different energy types for different skills,
Awesome.
uh, different talents that you take. So those are a couple that would be obviously like a down the line. There's potions like if you're poisoned, an antidote, things of that nature, status,
Yep.
um, healers.
And when
So
will
there's a few
pickle
different ones that we can
brine be
do.
used to make these potions? Because I'm seeing newt and weed. I'm like, where's the brine? They need some liquid in them.
You know what? You know what? The more that like we talk about the pickle brine, the more I think we need like a pickle. Like how Diablo had the cow level. We need a pickle level. It's like
Yes.
it's like hidden somewhere in the game. Like you go to old man Jenkins' farm and you go like behind the farmhouse through this particular tile, and it takes you into the pickle brine dungeon, dude. And it's just like pickle mobs attacking your raider, and at the very end you get some kind of like giant pickle sword. The thing
Pickle
is,
Easter eggs.
the pickle sword would be useless though, because it would just get sliced like when you
Yeah,
slice
yeah.
some of it. Like, I don't know if that would work unless it's like a really, really tough pickle. Like the opponent's sword just gets stuck in the pickle. I don't know.
It's got 1 1 1 1 stats, but it's got like a
Yeah,
percentage chance to insta kill anything. Like
yeah.
a
It's got absolute shit
0.05. Yeah,
stats,
yeah.
but it's a lot of fun.
That sounds good. I'm glad it's being considered. I'll accept that. All right, we'll
uh,
take a couple more questions, I think, because it's late for Tyrael. Um, we got one here. Where was it? Ah, yes. So when it comes to purchasing your raiders, what are the goals when it comes to marketplace that you guys are trying to make? Are you trying to have your own marketplace to make it more accessible, have a more streamlined experience, that kind of thing, instead of just relying on OpenSea?
yeah, yeah. So the benefit of the marketplace is, one, it's something that we can price everything in Orem, right? So that gives more value to the Orem token.
Right.
Two, the fees spent on that marketplace will go back to Raider stakers, which brings more value back to that ecosystem as well. Um, Three, we have a lot more control over the listings and the way that we can filter things, and the way that you're able to navigate that marketplace, right? Versus OpenSea, we're sort of at their whims, right? Um, and then OpenSea is this is the downside, right? So those are all the pros of the marketplace, right? The
Yeah.
downside is everybody's on OpenSea, right? That's where all the eyes are. So pulling all of the raiders like off of OpenSea into their own marketplace, right, prematurely really wouldn't be too much of a win, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, because nobody's looking at those. So there's probably going to be a transition period and an education period and a marketing blitz that has to go along with the marketplace launch. Because we want to make sure that people are actually using the marketplace and it's a viable option. Something that was really interesting that was brought up yesterday on the spaces was the idea of having like the auction house um, off chain, something that would be done in game. It's kind of an interesting idea. Obviously, that would really only work for items because raiders, they're NFTs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't,
No, I think
and
it
that
was
gets
cool. Yeah.
hairy in game. But I thought that was a really, really fun idea.
It kind of becomes
Um,
like, I think it was with SAS we kind of talked about that whole the WoW concept, going to the traders and you've got your in-game auction house because and it all happens in game. I think that idea kind of ties in with that whole vibe and feel of those old RPG games.
yeah, 100% agree. I like that in the sense of like it feels like a more real game experience. But I know people also, really want the NFT side of it, and that's a big, value to a lot of the Web3 community.
Yeah.
But I think that brings up a kind of a bigger important point, about like, what is crypto raiders, right? And what are where are the opportunities that the blockchain adds value, right? And where are the spots that the blockchain maybe isn't necessary, right? Because the blockchain really empowers the uh, ownership aspect of the game and of crypto raiders, right? But at the end of the day, the game crypto raiders has to be the front focus because that's what's going to make it fun and engaging and keep people playing, and that's what's going to make the ownership like have value, right? Is the game being fun and engaging,
Yeah,
right? So
totally.
it's sort of this like uh, thing that you have to consider from both sides.
Hmm.
But the primary has to be on the quality of the game and making sure that the game is as fun as possible. So I don't know. I really like the gamified version of the auction house, like walking into the auctioneer house in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like really fun. But then the NFT degenerate in me like really loves the you know marketplace. Like, hey, I want to trade all this shit off on its own marketplace and find those flips and play that market. So it's an interesting kind of situation there.
I love how you're instantly thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna find the flips. I'm gonna get items and flip them," and I'm just like, "I just want to play the game. I need to think about
And
this more." You guys are
that's some
out
serious
trading me.
NFT degenerates, man.
Yep. I need to get in that mindset or I'm going to fall behind. I saw a really good question a while ago, actually, about this new, these two new, one that we know about and another we don't know about, like tournaments coming, particularly that level one. Do you think giving qualifications to it based on owning the alpha tournament POAP would be a good idea?
That is an interesting idea. I definitely want to give some utility to those POAPs as we grow. So whether it's exclusive access to a tournament or some kind of giveaways or rewards, airdrop, whatever, things of that nature. I absolutely want to do that. We're going to do another POAP for the level 1 tournament. The I don't know if I want to call it the level 1 tournament. Maybe we'll call it the Iron Man tournament.
Iron Man, I like
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
The
So
zero to hero Iron Man tournament.
yeah, but I like that idea. That's an interesting idea, Pickle, that you just brought up about having a exclusive tournament just for the POAP guys and having a specific reward from them.
Or maybe not exclusive, just it gives you a qualification and the other qualifications are more
Raffle off some
difficult.
spots to those guys. Yeah,
Yeah, or
no, that's
like
a
if
cool
you
idea.
don't hold it, it's you maybe have to come through a different you have to come through a different tournament to qualify for this tournament, or it just makes it harder. It
Yeah,
gives
I
it
like that.
some uniqueness. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a fun idea.
Um. Yeah. There's lots of stuff coming. I um. I both want to participate in the Iron Man tournament and cast it, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But
uh,
I'll run my raids and then I'll let someone run it for me so I can cast it. I'll be like, it's Pickle, there he is. Please don't lose. And then they just run away when they're controlling my guy, and I'm like, oh well, thanks a lot.
wasn't there someone who had their girlfriend or boyfriend running their they're playing tournaments for them.
I don't know. Was there?
There was, if I remember correctly.
What a
I
legend.
don't remember all the details. Yeah, but it was this year he had their significant other out there like running the tournaments for him. I just got a good laugh out of that. I was like, man, put him to work, dude.
Fantastic. Yeah, man. I mean, sorry, my mind's just going a bit bonkers trying to recap everything that we've gone through. It's been once again incredible speaking to you, and great to connect and hear your thoughts, your vision, and your passion for the project that you're so into.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Always love doing these with you and getting to talk to the community. Been super busy, just with some other sides of the business, so haven't been as active in Discord over the past week or two. But I still try to get in there and shoot the shit with everybody and hang out for a little bit, at least once a day. But yeah, man, I'm always open. My DMs are always open. If you guys ever want to talk about anything, have any concerns, just shoot me a message. And yeah, man, I just feel super blessed to have such an awesome group of people along the ride with us, and just super super excited about where we're going, man. This next 30 to 60 days. And the funny thing is, I think I've said that since the beginning of this project. I'm really excited for the next 30 to 60 days. But the thing is the next 30 to 60 days always just keep getting juicier and juicier, and we keep putting out more and more stuff. So I keep finding myself repeating, I'm really excited for the next 30 to
Yeah,
60 days.
and I think everyone is. I'm so excited. I just want to, like, I had Friday off, dude. I just raided the whole morning, and I was like, I'm out of raids. All my weekend, I had, I was gonna do some streams in the weekend. I'm like, nah, I finished all my raids on Friday. What do I do? Wait for next week. I had all of Friday to do all my raids when I had planned to do them on the weekend, and whoops, got through them all. What's she gonna do? But
you, you know,
yeah,
what's funny about that is everybody now, since questing has gone out, they're like really like rushing their raids. Like right when they have their, like, some people have their like timers on. They're like,
yeah,
all right, all my raiders are coming home at 8 o'clock on Thursday. I'm gonna crank my fucking raids out in 2 hours, and then I'm gonna send them all back on their quests and restart my timer.
yeah.
It's so
Been
so
it's been
funny.
tough for me to manage that because I'm like, okay, I can stream now, but it takes me like twice as long to run my raids on stream sometimes because I just start rambling, and then my guys aren't questing. Like I'm not getting max
Yeah,
value. I brought them back now. Oh shit, I left them out too long. They won't be here in time for the stream. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I need to get it. People are doing well with those timers. They're totally min maxing
They're
the
doing way
questing.
better than me. They're doing way better than me, man. They're
Yeah,
doing way
same.
better than me. I end up sending them out on different times, and then I'm clicking through all the raiders trying to figure out which one came back at which time. It's a
It's just
mess.
a mess. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, but it's all fun. It's all fun and games for me. So I'm just enjoying being able to be a part of the community, and streaming so fun because been theory crafting some really random builds. Like, oh yeah, what happens if we put like 2 points in charm every time we level up? Oh, we're not that good. Okay. Oh well, like, okay, let's try a
Hey,
different raider and put 3 points in luck instead.
hey, well, you are quite charming.
Oh well, thank you, good sir. Uh,
Sorry, I had to go with the dad joke.
no, it
I
was
am officially a
appreciate
dad now, so I can pull the punches.
it. Well, I really appreciate your time, man. I know it's getting late, so thank you so much for having this chat with me again. And I think we learned a lot. And before you go, what's the leak that you prepared for this one? The big leak.
The big leak.
Yeah. What is it?
I didn't even
Oh, I thought
I
you
didn't
prepared
prep
one.
for I didn't man I didn't get the
Oh,
big leak memo.
okay. What's the little leak?
Little leak. We just sent over to our artists the designs to finish up for the merch. So I'm hoping that I'll have that ready here um, to launch in March for you guys. Sorry for the long delay. We've been so busy on cranking out other art assets that I haven't been able to wrap up that
We'll
project.
take that.
But yeah, our art team is going to get that wrapped up here, and then we're going to put that live. The quality of the product is great. Already ordered some samples and stuff. Looks fantastic. So just need to get a couple of the designs wrapped up, and then we're ready to rock. So I think people will be stoked on that.
Awesome. Merch March confirmed.
Go, baby.
All right. Thank you so much, Tyrael. We'll catch you when we do this again in the future.
Cheers. Thanks, Pickle.
See everyone. Thanks for being here, and we'll have the recording up for you soon. Bye.
Deep not drawn. Dina, message me. I'm looking for Dina drawn. Why can't I find you? Dina drawn.